The ancients were working all around the planet. They seem to have unlocked a very interesting earth energy system, all over the planet. So there seems to be a sort of globalization happening in prehistoric times, as well as still being worked with today. It wasn't just humans working with the grid, off-planet beings, as well as the dolphins and the whales. When you think about it, most of the world is water anyway, so you can understand that someone has to work with these kind of energies under the water. Some very unusual things that have been going on that are connected, and it seems like even some government agencies around the planet are working with these energies too. We have a global ancient system that was in place, and it was being used effectively. A great scientific instrument lies sprawled over the entire surface of the globe. At some period, perhaps it was over 4,000 years ago, almost every corner of the world was visited by a group of men who came with a particular task to accomplish. With the help of some remarkable power by which they could cut and raise enormous blocks of stone, these men erected vast astronomical instruments, circles of erect pillars, pyramids, underground tunnels, cyclopean alignments whose course from horizon to horizon was marked by stones, mounds and earthworks. The vast scale of prehistoric engineering is not yet generally recognized. And those are the words of John Michel from The View Over Atlantis, and that was from 1969. But there are other ancient connections with the grid as well. Particularly, there's this Hopi prophecy, or Hopi creation myth rather. Another clue to the grid. Great Taiwa, spider grandmother woman. And the story goes that she spat into 2 handfuls of earth and she created 2 brothers. These brothers sat in meditation to link minds. One went to the North Pole, he began to work his magic, and the other one went to the South Pole to say prayers, and they heard a distant drum of Taiwa, or the creator, to send vibration and a surge of life force to the crystal at the center of the earth. And this created some vibrational frequency which popped out from the crystal and went all over the surface of the earth into power spots, or sacred centers all over the surface, which some traditions call spots of the fallen. And so this tradition goes way back into the creation myths and stories of the Hopi. Even the Druids talked about 12 great circles that go around the planet. But I want to jump off planet for a moment and visit Mars to start with. Some of you may recognize the 3D image up there as a kind of Merkaba, or a star tetrahedron. There's certain angles and geometries on the planet. One of them was 19.5 degrees, or more precisely 19.47. And when you place a tetrahedron in a sphere, you get the points touch the surface at 19.5 degrees above or below the equator. And this is where sunspots sort of cycles and sort of sunspot activity is at its most strongest on the sun. On Earth we have Hawaii, which is the most active volcano on this planet. So there seems to be some kind of activity happening at 19.5 degrees. This gives a really interesting indication of a potential grid system that happens within all planetary bodies. And this graphic here you can see on the top right, the sun. This shows you the most intense kind of solar flare activity you get on the sun, and it all happens at precisely 19.47 degrees. So we can see these kind of energy upwellings through different bodies within the solar system. And on the lower map you can just see where the 19.5 degree latitude is marked. And on Saturn we have this great hexagon in the North Pole, and you can see that on the top left photo quite clearly. But the size of that hexagon, the width of 2 Earths, it's that big. It seems to maintain its integrity. It doesn't budge, even though there's massive swirling cloud bands and plasma moving around the North Pole. And somehow some energy system or vibration, or possibly a cymatic vibration, holds that energy in place while everything else moves around it. Even Plato gave us a clue about it as well. He suggested or mentioned the dodecahedron without mentioning the name dodecahedron, because in ancient times if you mentioned that word you could get in big trouble, potentially killed as well. And one of his paraphrased quotes, "The earth when viewed from above resembles a ball sewn from 12 pieces of skin."